Hey guys, it is the AFL Yank back here again for another tipping video. Of course, this round, the upcoming round is of course round 16, which is obvious, of course, but yeah. Now time for me to just stop sounding generic sounding, and now just basically gonna review the round 15 tips. I'm doing this video later than usual. You're probably, well, it's basically the middle of the early in the morning over in Australia, pretty much. But yeah, but nonetheless, want to get out my tips now, just for the heck of it, and yeah, all that goodness. So yeah, I ended up getting 5 out of 9 tips correct. I did get did tip the last 3 games wrong, but yeah. Nonetheless, we're gonna do a quick review of these games. Brisbane did get the first tip right. I tipped the Lions to beat the Cats at the Gabba. I was just really confident since, the Cats have they've played their best footy, honestly. They've been playing their best footy at home most of the time, honestly. But yeah, the Cats lose, and they end up falling out of the top 4 as another team that we're going to get to later ended up winning. But yeah, tipped the Lions to win by 3 points in a thriller. And it was the complete opposite of it. It was literally just a complete smashing of the Cats by the Lions. Just an absolute smashing. But yeah, nonetheless, Lions looking finals ready. And then the disappointment of the Richmond Tigers. The Tigers completely just completely got dismantled. Just got utterly destroyed by St. Kilda. Just an absolute mess of a game. They literally went from smashing them by 86 points earlier this year, and they end up they lost, they beat them, I believe, by 86 points. The Tigers, of course, I'm talking about. And now St. Kilda ends up winning big against the Tigers. And honestly, that definitely hurts their chances at making top 4. They might still have a good shot, obviously, making finals. They've done it before, but I honestly don't see them finishing top 4 with how they've been looking as of late. But yeah, first tip wrong of this round. Then I got the next 4 games right. Those 4 games being, I know a lot of people tipped Collingwood to beat Freo. A lot of people are confident in them. It was their first game with Robert Harvey as their head coach. As of course Nathan Buckley. His final game was against Melbourne. But yeah, the Pies' first game with Robert Harvey, who is the player with the most games played in the AFL with North Melbourne. He ends up, the Pies were pretty close of actually winning this game, but yeah, they ended up blowing it late in the game, obviously. Just Freo, they've just had all the confidence in the world. They've been absolutely confident as of late. Definitely making a push for finals, and I feel like they could actually have a good shot at it. They've been very focused as of late. They've had some really good games here and there. They could definitely be a possible dark horse to make finals this year. And honestly, I know a lot of people have said, the top 8's basically locked up, but Freo could possibly make a run for it. They still have a good shot. There's a possible shot in there. But yeah, nonetheless, tipped Freo when everyone else did, and ended up getting it right. And then tipped North Melbourne to beat Gold Coast in Tasmania. Let's not kid ourselves. Tasmania deserves an AFL side. They have such a passionate fan base, honestly. Like, I feel like they could definitely get their own Tasmanian club. And honestly, they deserve one more than probably GWS or Gold Coast, because the Suns have been an absolute dumpster fire of a club, and heck, even the owner admits it, that it's a freaking dumpster fire. Like, even he admits that the club is an absolute dumpster fire. And the Giants, they have such a small fan. They've been a really successful side, but they just had such a lackluster. Like, they've got a really small fan base, and it just seems like they have a little bit of a hard time trying to. They have a little bit of a difficult time trying to attract fans a little bit. I mean, there were a lot of fans that came in, when they made the grand final in 2019 and ultimately got smashed. Like, it's a really small fan base, but still not really the biggest in the league. They're a good team. They're a good side, but they just lack a little bit in the fan base. I know there's some big fans out there. I know. And I respect you guys, but yeah, just a lot of people just generally think the Gold Coast and GWS experiments just really haven't been that great fan-wise. But yeah. And then Port I ended up tipping Port, but wanted the Swans to win, but yeah, complete opposite happened. Frickin' Caden Brand went full J.R. Smith at the end of the game, pretty much. Like, Buddy was on fire late in the game. Just absolutely on fire, and frickin' Caden, a little bit of errors, and Port ended up coming back roaring with a strong response. But regardless, that was a really good game. Like, from a neutral fan standpoint, there's definitely a lot of good reason of why you would enjoy that. Why you probably enjoy that Port Swans game. But yeah, nonetheless, unfortunate loss for my Swannies, but things are on the up. Things are certainly on the up. Golden had a really good performance coming back. I mean, there were some issues here and there, middle of the game. There could have been some more opportunities done. Like, I wanted to see more, but hey, still a good performance. And hopefully only things get stronger from here. Let's just hope things get stronger from here. But yeah. Then Essendon versus Melbourne. I know the Dons have been. Why the hell? I call them the Dons. I know Essendon have been a really good side as of late. They're a really good young side as well. I mean, you could make some art. I mean, there have been a lot of people blaming the umps, but you gotta admit the D's have been the better side as of late. I mean, they have had a little bit of. They've been a little bit lackluster as of late, but regardless, yeah, another strong win for the D's from the young Bombers. But yeah. And then I ended up getting the last 3 games wrong. GWS, I tipped GWS to beat Hawthorn. I was really confident it happened. And it did not happen. The Hawks end up getting back-to-back wins. They've beaten both Sydney clubs. And of course, both the Swans and Giants, they are set to be playing in Victoria for the next couple of weeks with Sydney in lockdown. Even the NRL was affected by it. I believe the Roosters had to play up in Newcastle, I believe. Which is, of course, near the Gold Coast. But yeah. The lockdown in Sydney going on. Hopefully everyone out there in New South Wales is doing good. I know a lot of them are doing great. I know a lot of my fan base on my channel are obviously Swan supporters because I go for the Swans, of course. But yeah, I'm hoping everyone out there in New South Wales is doing good. Hopefully you get through this. Hopefully you get through the pandemic. Hopefully the outbreak isn't too long, and hopefully you guys are back out back out doing well in at least the next 3 weeks, I think. But yeah. The Giants in their first game in Victoria, in their Victorian hub, they ended up losing to the Hawks. Ended up losing by 3 goals. They lost by 3 goals. Pretty disappointing outcome, but yeah, the Hawks have just gained momentum since their bye. The bye has really helped them. And then tipped the Eagles to beat the Dogs at home. I was really confident. They had a lot of their players coming back, and which they were actually really good earlier this season, but yeah, everything just collapsed on them. And they ended up getting smacked by 55. They ended up getting smacked by the Dogs by 55 points. Just got absolutely smacked in the face. But yeah, a strong win by the Dogs at Optus Stadium. Which, honestly, does give me a lot of hope. Gives me a lot of hope next round. Well, gives me a lot of hope for this upcoming round once I get to the tips. But yeah. And then finally, Carlton end up beating the Crom. I was really hoping the Crows are going to win it, but nope. Blues finally get a win in what has been, as of late, a very bad losing streak for them. Just things have just not gone well for them at all this season. But yeah, now let's get on to the tips for round 16. And of course, there are 7 rounds left this season before finals. This is definitely going to be really interesting. And honestly, this round's going to be really interesting too, but yeah. So here we go. The first game of July at the MCG. Thursday night. Well, it's actually not Thursday night. Yeah, it's Friday night footy. There's no Thursday night matches this round. It is the Pies versus the Saints. A neck-and-neck game here. The Saints coming off a big win against the Tigers, and the Pies coming off a very shorthanded loss, coming off a close loss to the Dockers. But yeah, can Robert Harvey get his first win as the head coach of what do they call them? Coaches or managers? Coach. I guess they do call them coaches, but yeah. Can Robert Harvey get his first win as the coach of Collingwood? Or will the Saints just continue to absolutely light it up like they did last round against the Tigers? I'm actually going with the Saints to win this game. I feel like they're the better side as of right now. I feel like they could have a good opportunity of maintaining that momentum. And I'm going to say they win by 14 points. I think that Tigers win could definitely give them some momentum, definitely give them some confidence. And I feel like the Saints are just it's gonna be a close game. I definitely think it'll be a thriller, but I just think the Saints are gonna be the better side. I'm not saying they're gonna go full 2017 Swans and just shock the world and all that stuff and make finals, but I think the Saints, they'll get a good win here, but I don't think they're going to make finals this year. Still not confident about them making finals. And the next we got at GMHBA, beginning the Saturday games. It's Geelong versus Essendon. Essendon coming off a really close loss to the D's. They lost only by 9 points. And the Cats, they're coming off a massive loss against... They're coming off that huge loss against the Lions. I am really confident in the Cats in this game, though, since they are playing at home. Home advantage should definitely help them. They've been an absolutely dominant side on their home ground. They should definitely get this win. And, yeah. And then next, at Metricon Stadium, it is the Gold Coast Suns versus the Richmond Tigers. The Suns continuing to be basically the developmental league for every AFL club as of right now, pretty much. Since most of their youth just basically scrams off in at least 5 years or so. But yeah, Tigers coming off a really terrible loss against St. Kilda. I don't see it repeating, honestly. I think the Tigers can get the job done here against the shit Suns. The Suns have been so shit. They freaking lost to the Roos. And yeah, I think the Tigers will just be too good. I think it might be a tight game early on, but I think the Tigers will evidently pull away. Like, this is absolutely no problem. They should definitely get the win here. But yeah, I'm confident in the Tigers winning this game. They should get this job done. And yeah. And then next, at Marvel Stadium, it is Hawthorn versus Port Adelaide. Port coming off a big win against the Swans, and Hawthorn also coming off a huge win against GWS. The two clubs coming off big wins over both Sydney clubs. The Hawks, they're looking to potentially go 3 wins straight. Hopefully, put some energy in the kids. And Port now in the top 4. They should definitely have all the confidence in the world. And honestly, I'm really confident Port getting this game. They've honestly been the better side as of late. I mean, Port, they have... And of course, we obviously know that Port's basically just... They've just absolutely been top-notch beating shitty sides. Like, if you're below Port, you're basically screwed because they're just going to basically... Like, literally, Port just beats any side that's, like, below them on the ladder. Like, literally. Even if it's a top 8 side. But yeah, regardless... I'm just confident Port. They should just get this job done. They beat shitty sides. Just beat bunch of shitty sides. Like I want the Swans to do. But somehow they really don't do it that much. But yeah. And the next... It is the D's versus the Giants. The Giants coming off a massive loss to Hawthorn. And then the D's, they're coming off a big win against Essendon. Relatively confident in the D's winning this one. They should get the job done. The Giants have just... The Giants just did not have that confidence in them against Hawthorn. Like, they just let the Hawks go all over them. Late in the game, pretty much, but yeah. But yeah, the D's, relatively confident they should get this job done. The Giants, they've had a good run making... They could still make a finals run, but I don't think this will be the game where they get on the gas. Like, I just think the D's are the better side. And the next... it is the Sunday games. It's Sunday's matches. And, of course, I know it still says SCG, but I know this game is going to be at GMHBA. It's going to be the first game at GMHBA where the Cats aren't playing. But yeah, the Swannies playing at the Cattery facing the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles coming off a horrible loss against the Dogs. And, of course, the Swans coming off a close loss against Port. I'm actually going to be... Just seeing the Eagles lose to the Dogs just kind of gave me confidence, honestly. I do get a little pessimistic sometimes, but honestly, that game did give me a little bit of optimism. I mean, there's still a lot of optimism, obviously, but yeah. Just a little bit. I just get a little bit worried about. About the worst happening, but regardless, got a lot of our youth coming back. Sam Reed is set to be coming back soon, as well as Warner and Campbell, and I am also hoping that Logan McDonald makes it back on the main side. He didn't play in the VFL match yesterday. Well, yeah, it's yesterday because it's obviously it's early in the morning in over in Australia. But yeah, none of like the most of the seniors, like any of the players that were actually with the team in South Australia didn't take part in the VFL game yesterday. Didn't take part in the VFL game yesterday, and yeah. But yeah, hopefully McDonald makes his way back onto the main side. I do feel like Fox, Bell, and especially Brand might exit out this round. Like, they might be omitted. I feel like Lewis Taylor might actually make his way on the main side, but all I just want to see, man, I want to see him in his 2014 Rising Star form. Like, if he makes it back on the main side, and if he could just finally kick straight. I mean, he's had some okay games, but he just needs to have that confidence in him in key moments. That's what I just want to see. I mean, even in the Hawthorn game this year, he just looks sluggish. Like he was literally, like, sometimes he's literally just standing right in front of the goalpost and he literally just freaking misses. Like, it just frustrates me sometimes watching him, but go for the best. Hopefully he does make it back onto the main side. Maybe Hayden McLean also makes it back on the main side probably sometime this year if he could, if we somehow, find a position to fit him in, but regardless. But yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Swans to win this game. I feel like we could get the job done at GMHBA. I mean, we've actually been a really good side there when we faced the Cats. And I think we could get that first. I think we could continue our strong home advantage wins over the Eagles. I mean, they did beat us at ANZ back in 2007, but yeah, relatively, we've actually been really dominant against the Eagles at home. When we have home advantage, which ground we play at. Of course, obviously the fact that, we've had that long streak at the SCG, which obviously is going to continue since, obviously, the New South Wales lockdown. But yeah, relatively confident about the Swans getting this game, hopefully getting this win. I'm just hoping that's just not the Dogs and how they might smack her ass or some shit. But yeah. And then the Dogs facing the Roos at Marvel Stadium. Obviously I'm going with the Dogs. Like, North, they had a good win against Gold Coast, but the reason is that they basically had home advantage since they actually play really well in Tasmania. But yeah, I'm going with the Dogs to win this game. This probably could end up being, oh man, I reckon this game could possibly be something that would be seen on some particular website if it turns out to be a massive smackdown. Like, I swear someone might put it on that PH website, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it because I might get demonetized, but yeah. But yeah, I'm going with the Dogs to win that game. Relatively confident in the Doggies. And then next, Adelaide Oval. It is the Adelaide Crows versus the Brisbane Lions. The Crum lost to the Blues. I was hoping they would win against them, but didn't happen. The Crows are definitely their side on the up, but I don't think they're finals ready, obviously. But yeah, they could be a finals team in probably 2 years. Still got to work out the kinks and stuff. But they got some good young key pieces, but yeah, I obviously got to go with the Lions. They've just been on fire as of late. The Lions have just been they've just been absolutely on fire as of late. But yeah, no problems here. Obviously got to choose the Lions. They've just been the more superior side as of late. And finally, off the stadium, Freo versus Carlton. Two teams coming off wins. The Dockers, of course, with that huge win over the Pies, and Blues getting a big win over the Crows. I got to go with the Dockers here, mainly because of home advantage. They've been a really good side at Optus. Like, just no issues here. Got to choose the Dockers to win this game. Been a really dominant side at home against most teams. And, yeah. So those are my tips. Now let's get to the score predictions and how I project the ladder to be. So, yeah. Here we go. Well, actually, it's now, oh, wait. Yeah, Gold Coast versus Richmond. Obviously got to go with the Tigers. end up going to 8-7 as a result. Then Geelong versus Essendon. Gonna go with the Cats to win this game. The Dons will definitely make a good run. Will definitely make a solid run, but I just think the Cats will be too good. Gotta pick them to win by 20 points. Then Melbourne versus GWS. Gotta go with the D's to win this game. I think they're a better side right now than the Giants. Then Adelaide versus the Brisbane Lions. This game will be scheduled, I believe. I'm pretty sure this game is going to be scheduled earlier because obviously the AFL tipping website hasn't updated, where the venues are going to be held at. Because I had that issue, obviously, with the Tigers and Eagles game. It was like 3 weeks ago it was. 2 or 3 weeks ago. What was round? It was round 13, August. Yeah, it was round 13. So, that was around like 2 weeks ago when I had that issue. When I noticed why the hell the Tigers-Eagles game was on the Squiggle website and not on the AFL tipping website. But yeah. Like, they take a little bit longer to update, but yeah. Brisbane Lions, I think they're going to be... I just think the Lions are going to be the better side. I'm going to tip them to win by a big margin, 46 points. Hawthorn versus Port. The Hawks, they've been on fire as of late, but once again, I just think the Power are going to be too good. Going to pick them to win by, say, 32 points. And then Freo versus Carlton. I'm going to end up going with the Dockers to get this one. I think it could be a thriller of a game, but I think the Dockers will be too good. I'm going to pick them to win by 9 points. Then the Swannies facing the Eagles at GMHBA. Definitely could be a possible close game, but I'm going to tip the Swans actually to win by 16 points just to at least even the margin out. Just to at least even things out a little bit, but yeah. And Collingwood versus St. Kilda. This should be a really tight game, but I feel like the Saints could grab a win here. I'm actually going to tip them by 1 point. Yep, 1 freaking point. And then the Dogs versus the D's. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know how to tip this margin. My goodness. But screw it. I'm just going to type some random numbers and all that random goodness. Like just all that random stuff there. I'll just say screw it, 113 points, just for the hell of it. And then the Lions versus, oh no, that's the last game of the round. But yeah, here is my final odder prediction at the end of round 16. D's first, Dogs second, Lions third, Port fourth, Geelong fifth, Swans sixth, Tigers seventh, and Eagles eighth. Then Freo ninth, St. Kilda 10th, GWS 11th, Essendon 12th, Carlton 13th, Crows 14th, Pies 15th, Suns 16th, Hawks 17th, and the Roos in 18th. Clearly a lock for the Wooden Spoon this year. And of course, to punch their ticket to the first overall pick in the NAB AFL draft. But yeah, regardless, I hope you enjoyed this tipping video. I'm sorry if I'm uploading this at the ass crack of dawn. But nonetheless, I am the AFL Yank, signing out again. Come on, Swannies. I know you could... Oh my God, what was I going to say? The Swans will find some way to win the grand final. Trust my ass. But yeah. Car in the Swannies.